I'll give you a quick wave.
Oh, look.
Hello.
It's very wet, and there's my children. They're roller coaster nuts. So anyway, but I'll say hello and I'll let you get on, and I'll hopefully stay on the call.
I'm very impressed. So welcome Jenny from Alton Towers, and welcome Mariana, who's we've just lost Mariana on video.
Oh.
Hi Mariana.
Sorry. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our first ever members Q&A session for answering all your questions about ANLP membership. Nina, you probably know from dealings with her as our membership coordinator, and I'm Karen, the CEO and general dog's body, I suspect, and Jenny is also on this call from Alton Towers at the moment. So welcome. Who has a question about ANLP membership?
I have lots of questions.
Excellent.
All right.
First, I want to thank you for your wonderful email replies that you sent to my many emails. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
As a new person, I start to look, but I just find it overwhelming. Is there a particular way you recommend new people to go and check out your website? That's one question. And the other about membership, is there a list with all the membership benefits in one place that I can look at?
Yes.
Do you want to answer?
Okay, so the website, that's interesting if you find it overwhelming. We're very careful in all the work we did beforehand to try and make it as easy as possible for people. So as a new member, you if you go onto the website, on any page you will have at the top there's 6 tabs, and one of them is resources. It's the third one from the right, so the third one in, and if you just hover over that resources tab, it opens up 6 columns, 6 headings, under which you will find absolutely everything that you would need to know.
Nina, do you want to share your screen? Are you looking at it on the screen at the same time?
I'm looking on my.
Oh, shall I share my screen then, and you can guide me in the right direction? That is
Okay.
I think it's sometimes easier when there is a visual as well. So bear with me whilst I share my screen. Okay, so we're on the ANLP website. Where did you suggest we go, Nina?
Third tab from the right, resources.
Resources.
Yeah, and then under here you can see you need to click on them specifically, but you will see you've got your member downloads in the left-hand column. So that's all, as a member, all the bits that you're eligible to download, obviously according to your level of membership. The member resources in the middle column, under there you will find members how-to guides, fourth one down, Karen. If you click there, can you click on that one? There you will find lots of how-to guides on the basic things that you might need to do. Each guide is either a video, 2-minute YouTube video, or a PDF download. And you go back up, Karen, to resources again. What else have we got there? Yeah, member resources. You've got your code of ethics. You've got you're starting an NLP business. Lots of tips and good things that you might need there. And then the benefits. You asked about benefits, Mariana. Yes, sorry. On the ANLP membership tab, on the right-hand side there, you've got a column membership benefits, and each of those, if you click on any one, Karen, each of them will give you a whole page of information about that particular benefit. Where do we put our bit about discounts?
So that's a separate. There are 5 levels.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Benefit. So the discounts one, if you were to go onto the discounts one, that lists out all the places where we have we've got the discount arrangement, and it might be that there are codes that you need in order to take advantage of the discounts. And if you want to find the discount code, you then have to go into the I'm just trying to think of one. So this one, for example, it will tell you to take advantage of this offer, collect the code and relevant instructions by the discounts page when you're logged in. So as Nina says, one of the really useful places to go is the resources page of the website. The other useful page to go is actually from your dashboard as a member. So you've got your own dashboard as a member, and you have to be logged in to do that. So I've just logged in as my dog, actually, as one of our test members is the dog. So my dog is an associate member of ANLP, so that her profile is not actually shown on the website. And now I'm logged in as Tash, the dog. And there I've got my dashboard is available to me here, as you can see. So here Tash has uploaded a photo of herself. She's quite dexterous on occasions. And these are basically, so because Tash is only an associate member, she has less resources available to her than you would potentially have as a professional member or as a trainer. However, even as an associate member, there are various things that Tash can do. She can download the latest issue of Rapport and Acuity and the Research Journal, which are all PDFs that are available to you as members. She can download her member certificate and the code of ethics and various things like that. And this one here, when we were talking about the discounts, this one here is where you would click on that one. I'm not going to do it now because obviously this is going out as a Facebook Live and there potentially could be non-members watching as well. But if you clicked on the special offers, that's where you would go to get the various discount codes you need or the links that you need to take advantage of the insurance offer. You get your 10% discount at the conference from there by clicking on there and finding out what the special code is. So those, as Nina has said, those are the two main places that you go, either to the resources tab or log in and go to your dashboard if you want something specific for your membership.
So Mariana, I can see that you haven't, I think maybe you haven't logged in yet. So if you were wanting some help with getting your profile up, so once you've logged in, you'd want to put some information about yourself and uploading your photograph. There's also at the bottom of the website, on each page, there's a dark grey border right at the bottom. You've got frequently asked questions. And yeah. Oh, can you see that? Right at the bottom there, you've got frequently asked questions, and if you went to existing members only, second from the bottom, and click there, you will find all information here about how to edit your profile. I thought you did.
Edit your profile. The edit your profile might be on the.
Yeah, how to update my profile. I'm pointing at the screen, which is useless. Oh. It's one. Hang on, you're going too fast.
Sorry, I will stop at the top. There you go.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 on down.
That one.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So the first bit, how to upload, how to change contact details. And other information about downloading stuff that you've bought. It's all really quite straightforward though. If you go into your dashboard and click on your tabs that you need to upload some information, it really does guide you through.
So the key one for all members is their members profile, which you access from your dashboard, because your members profile, if you're a professional member or above, your members profile is what you're presenting to the general public and your potential clients. So that's a really key one. I suspect Tash possibly hasn't actually done an awful lot on her profile. That's okay, because she's an associate member, and associate members are not promoted on the website. So it's okay that Tash hasn't filled out her profile. However, professional members and above, this is your shop window. This is your opportunity to build rapport with your potential clients or your potential students if you're a trainer. So it's really, really important that you fill out, even if it's just these 3 elements. So your profile, upload a photo, put your summary in, and put something in your profile to say what it is that you do, what you specialize in, who you're looking to attract as a potential client, because that information is, as I said, this is your shop window, this is your first opportunity, and possibly your only opportunity to connect with a potential client. And Nina, we did we did some stats last year, didn't we, when we were still on the old website?
Yeah.
We actually had somebody who said that membership hadn't worked for them, so they weren't renewing, which is absolutely fine. And what Nina did was looked at their profile, and it had no photo, no explanation, no text, nothing. And what we did at that point, we looked at a number of, because in the background we can measure the stats as to how many times you have appeared in a search when somebody has gone onto our website and searched for London or something like that, or a specialist phobias or whatever. We measure how many times you've come up in a search, but also how many times your profile has then been clicked on as a result of coming up in a search. And we looked at a couple of members who had really full informative profiles, photos, lots of text, well, not too much text. People have short attention spans sometimes, so the right amount of text. And they got 8 times more hits on their profile than when they'd come up in a search, than someone who had a not very useful profile. I mean, at least Tash has put a photo up there, which is better than nothing, because as we all know in NLP, visual is quite important, and she does look quite cute. So she may get 1 or 2 clients just from looking cute. However, I know I couldn't rely on that. So if I had a profile on the ANLP website, I would need to put some information in there to encourage people to contact me. What is exciting, I can't show it to you at the moment, but later this week we are rolling out a new element to the website where actually the stats that I've just been talking about, members will be able to see those as well. So you will have, not only will you be able to see how many times you've come up in searches, how many times your profile's been clicked, but another key element that we realised we weren't actually measuring was, because on your profile you have the ability to put your social media, your own website and all that sort of thing. It's quite often that actually our website might be the conduit that introduces you to a client, but by the time they've then clicked off our website onto yours or onto your Facebook profile or something like that, and then if they do become a client and you say, oh, how did you find me, they're likely to say, oh, from your Facebook profile or from your website, without appreciating that actually that initial contact still came via ANLP. So one of the new metrics that we're now measuring is how many click-throughs you are getting, because of course we can, well, one of the adages that we use in the office sometimes is, you know, that we can lead a horse to water, we can't make it drink. So once we've got somebody to your website, to your Facebook profile, it really is over to you at that point to do what's necessary, and what, you know, if they become the right fit for you as a client, then that's absolutely fantastic. We're also going to be measuring some other bits and pieces that I will do my best to remember. So how many views your case studies have, how many, if you've got diary events, how many views they've had, and how many client reviews you have, that sort of thing. So there's going to be, as I said, there's going to be some stats coming up. Some of them have only been measured recently. Some of them were being measured on the old website as well. So somebody who's been a member for quite a long time might have fairly high figure in their in the number of times they've come up in a search. So, but there will be explanations on that when it goes live, as I said, later this week. So that's quite interesting. So,
I think you know, to Marianne, you said, you know, you found it all a little bit overwhelming, and there is a lot of information, and it can be like that. And I think I liken it a little bit. Karen and I are both amateur photographers, and I think when I can compare sort of seeing this website with getting a new camera, and you go through the menus, and you have to just spend that time. I have to, you know, go through and make sure that I understand how to change all the settings, what the camera actually does. So it's just a question perhaps of, you know, setting aside 15 minutes with a cup of coffee, log into your dashboard and just explore and play around. You can't break anything. So just, you know, it is just sitting down and just seeing what's on there.
And even if you do end up breaking something, that's absolutely fantastic, because you just then tell us that you've broken something, and we talk to our web developer, because it's quite important that we know about. Well, you know, Nina and I and the rest of the team, we spent days, weeks, endless days, weeks, months testing the website before it went live last December, and you know, we thought, have we covered every eventuality? No.
You never can you?
No. So Connor, hello. You're muted.
Yeah, she's looking.
Where's the mute button gone? Hi there.
Hi.
Nice to meet you guys.
Well, and Lucy, thank you so much for being here. The reason Jenny doesn't have her picture up is she's at Alton Towers with her children, so she's very kindly joined us from Alton Towers.
Oh wow!
I'm very impressed.
I'm very envious. I'm impressed.
I'm possibly
I'm
not
very wet.
Oh, shame. Shame. Oh, I'm joining you from Johannesburg in South Africa.
Oh, so you're a bit warmer than we are then.
Well, I've got the aircon on. We've got it's the equivalent of the end of April. But we're up at around 34, 35 at the moment, so we're all melting.
Okay, that's not April in the UK.
Sorry. Not trying to rub it in or anything, but yeah. So
I think when I took the deer dog out for a walk this morning, it was 5 degrees.
Oh.
Yeah, it was and raining. Did you have rain? Rain.
Oh, no, it's raining now.
No.
Very dull now.
Yeah. We took our dog out for a walk this morning at about 5:45 in the morning, because if you don't do it then, it's just too hot.
Too hot.
You can't. So so we were up with the dawn. Enjoying that.
I go out at that time anyway.
Yeah, it's nice,
so that I can I avoid people. Well, I'm not at 5:45. It has to be 6:15. Now the clocks have gone back. It's 6:15. Is good enough, you know. I can go out, but yeah, it's fine. It's just I like to park to myself. Spaciousness.
Definitely.
Do you have any questions for us?
I've done my profile. I've done all of that stuff. So I've only been around ANLP a couple of months. I've got kind of a different type of question. So I just wanted to explore this. I don't know how much ANLP works together in terms of the NLP training industry. To what extent the members see themselves as in a competition or in collaboration. What's in my head is that I've been around the corporate scene for years. So I'm a certified trainer. I'm a trainer member, but I do not certify NLP practitioners. I never wanted to do that. I wanted to get a really deep knowledge of NLP and then take it into the corporate world where I could see such need for the kind of thinking and the kind of attitudes that NLP had. So that's what I've been doing for 15 years. So I've met many ideas in terms of business while I've been doing that. And the thing that I think I would love to generate a discussion in the NLP community at the moment is around what the corporates call scenario planning.
Ooh.
Which is about, it's how you strategize at an organization level, given that you can't predict the future.
Yeah.
And this is something that large businesses and corporates do all the time, even when things are fairly stable.
Yeah.
But our industry we're in such difficult and challenging times. There is so little certainty going forward that I think it would be really interesting to have a conversation about scenario planning, what we think the useful scenarios are going forward. The result of, I don't know how, please forgive me if I'm preaching to the choir here, but scenario planning usually comes up with 4 different scenarios. And it's not about saying, right, the whole industry or all of most of the ANLP members believe it's going to go this way. It's really about saying, let's have a look at what might be happening in our industry in order to inform the individual trainers and their businesses better about preparing for being flexible in the right way, in a useful way into the future. So that's kind of what's in my head at the moment. And I've been looking around ANLP and looking at rapport and all that stuff. Absolutely lovely stuff. And I don't really know, I don't know if it's appropriate to try and start a conversation like this, whether one could send out, one meaning me probably, we could send out because we need to collect data about what people see about to contribute to a scenario planning session. Could we, would it be possible for me to do that, then to organize a session and have people input and have a sort of remote workshop with the intention of saying, well, here you are, this is what we think as an industry, so take it in your own business and use it in whatever way makes sense to you. Is this, am I just kind of dreaming nice dreams, or is this something we could do within the ANLP community?
So absolutely, and my head went in so many different directions at the same time. I'm surprised my hair didn't just go like that. One of them was to contact our head of strategy, and I thought I deliberately took my phone out of the room, and I was going to contact the head of strategy and say, get on this call, it's really interesting. So yes is the answer to that. Interestingly, we've been doing some of that already. So obviously, when suddenly back in March, I think it was around the same time actually in South Africa, we suddenly found ourselves in an interesting scenario.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we very quickly got off the mark and did go in different directions. Because it was a case of, okay, so we had members saying, what do we do about our training and stuff like that, the trainer members. So we very quickly, I think it was about the 20th of March, wasn't it, somewhere around there, that we published temporary guidelines for virtual training, because that's what people needed to know, especially because up to the 20th of March, kind of NLP online training was not really the done thing with NLP. It's such an experiential subject. It's so important, and it has to be trained in a safe way wherever it's being trained. So that was our question in that instant, was how can our members, how can these trainers and professional members who are doing coaching, how can they move their business? We can't just suddenly have an entire industry shut down. That's it, we all pack up and go home. So those were the questions. How can this be done? So we quickly consulted with our accreditation team, were a good starting point for the trainers, and consulted with other professional members, as in what does safe practice look like in a virtual environment. came up with temporary guidelines by the 20th of March, and then worked with the accreditation team, who then, you know, some of our accreditation team, if they were on this call, would be very happily saying, yep, was dead against online training, didn't believe in it at all, wasn't the way to go. And of course, then the pandemic happened, and we are where we are. And those members went out and tested it. This has to be, you know, it has to be robust. It has to be tested. So our accreditation team were testing it. Other trainer members were testing it and feeding back in as well, as in what works, what doesn't work. So by June, we'd published. You know, we watch how the landscape's progressing, and actually this isn't going to go anywhere very soon. And with virtual training especially, that particular genie is out of the bottle now. It's not going to go back in. And actually, there's probably some good reasons why it doesn't need to go back in the bottle, because there have been a lot of benefits to doing things in a virtual environment. So with the trainers who were, some of the trainers who were actually testing this for real, we created our permanent virtual training criteria in June, which still enabled people to train, and they can still become professional members of ANLP. They can still go out there and work professionally, despite having trained in a virtual environment. And the virtual training is about having live interaction like this. That there's many criteria. There's certain things, you know, that we caution. You know, think carefully about whether or not you're willing to train these things online. It might not, in a virtual environment, it might be safer to back off and definitely be more more aware of the sorts of challenges that students might be bringing into a training room, because it's a virtual training room. Then encourage students to work at. I mean, it's the same as everything. You know, you wouldn't. Well, some people might teach someone to swim by throwing them in the deep end. I didn't do that.
I learned that way. Yeah.
my brother learned that way because he ran straight out of the changing rooms into the deep end of the swimming pool the first time that we ever got taken to the swimming pool. So yeah, my brother did do that. However, we might choose to teach someone to swim in a slightly more cautious environment. So it's very much more about, you know, just ensuring that the challenges that people are bringing to demo sessions and practice sessions are more surface level, rather than diving straight into the depths of some awful childhood challenge of some description. Yep. So it's that sort of thing. So yes, so we do that. We then followed that up with two Q&A sessions specifically for trainers, that just enabled them to do this with two of the people who've been testing the scenarios. And we've also very recently done, for another project that we're on, we've just done a training survey that we sent out via various associations, so it went out globally, to ascertain the levels of training, so training levels from 2018 through to 2021. So taking how many, as a rough estimate, how many people did you train at each level? So diploma, prac, master prac, trainer, master trainer, and other NLP courses, NLP related courses that aren't pure NLP. And we've taken those stats from 2018, 2019. What's happened? We said, well, 2020 is a bit of a dodgy year, so we don't want to sort of suddenly imply that the NLP training industry is taking a dive, because actually life has kind of gone a bit like that this year. So we split the question for 2020 and split the question again for 2021 in terms of how many people have you trained or will you be training in person, and how many virtually. And we asked that question again for 2021. So from that, the survey only closed last week, so we're still collating the data. But from that, Connor, it would be really interesting, as in, well, actually, despite the pandemic this year, the levels have certainly maintained. They were going up from 2018 to 2019. They've certainly plateaued a bit this year, but they haven't taken the deep dive that they potentially could have done. And for 2021, especially because we now have permanent virtual training criteria, that they're increasing quite a lot for future years. And your particular scenario planning, I think, is a really great idea. So yes, let's have a conversation after this, because
Sure.
that's something would be really, really interesting to do. And if it sounds like that's something that you've definitely got some expertise in. So if we can connect up after this, let's have a conversation. We've definitely got the means for doing the surveys. We've definitely got the means for sending the information out. And something like that, I think, would be of huge value to the NLP community and the ANLP community to be able to do something like that.
The what's in my head is that I feel that what we've done this year, and by we I mean everybody I know in the NLP community, in whether they're ANLP or wherever, there had to be almost a knee-jerk reaction. It was how fast can, and I've spoken to several trainers who basically said, I got online in 2 weeks straight. I just grabbed myself an IT person and said, get me online. Here's the stuff, that's it. And that's survival level.
Yeah.
What I want to do now, and even, with great respect, the training criteria, it's about what we know now. Yeah. I would like us to start looking at the future and going, we are in a casino. We are in a giant casino, our industry, and all the other industries are as well. But what are the most likely things that are going to come up? And one of the things I really wanted to ask you when you were speaking there is, did you collect data on the age groups of who's training?
Not in that. That was we needed that data for a very specific project. So no, we didn't on that particular one.
I'm interested because in my work in corporate, as we've seen different generations come through over 15 years, we've seen very different.
So we're having a very early lunch.
I'm just going to.
Okay. We've seen, I remember several years ago, it's probably a good 10 years ago now, I encountered for the first time what was to me a completely new approach to people sitting in a room, which was they didn't want to be there. They wanted to be on a device, and that was how they were communicating. And we had to start at that point pushing stuff on the device because they were no longer eyeballing us. They all had their phones under the desk. So we tried to say, no, you will not do this. You hand your phone in when you arrive. You can't. That's just not helpful, and it doesn't build rapport or relationships or anything else. So we had to go a different route. So I'm very aware of the shift in expectations from the different generations, the trainings that I've sat in on recently have been a huge range of ages from people in their 60s and 70s down to people in their 20s. And I'm really curious to know what's happening, who are we appealing to with NLP these days?
And that's a very, very good question. And then to bring that back to a profile, we added, years and years ago, we added date of birth as one of those fields on our profile because we wanted to know the demographic of our members. Because there is such a wide demographic in the field of NLP. There's such a wide potential demographic. So again, encouraging people to fill that field out on their profile because it's really useful information. And who knows, we might one day even get around to sending people birthday greetings or something like that. That would be lovely.
Can we please ask them first, do they want them? I've met people who go, don't send me birthday greetings. It's like, your bank says, we really care about you and we want to wish you No, you don't.
It's
Okay,
like
Karen.
one for various stores that basically say, here's your birthday greeting. It's 25% off as long as you spend £100.
Happy birthday, give us some money.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we take this offline and explore
Yeah,
further then?
I think
Would
so.
that be a good thing?
I'm very conscious of Jenny and Mariana, who may have more questions, but yes, definitely we'll take this conversation offline. And I think the fact that other people will be watching this and listening to this afterwards, if anybody does watch this Facebook Live when it's not live later, do please put a comment on Facebook to say if it's something that you're interested in getting involved with from a member's perspective, because I think there's huge value in this, and certainly huge value in the potential results that will come from this. So, and Connor, I very much appreciated the fact that you said this is something that we could do. Well, maybe it means I will do it, because that's exactly how we work very successfully with certain members who come up with an idea. There's one, I'm not going to name him in his absence, but there's one member that has some great successes in Northern Ireland with and works at government level, because he originally came to us and said, I've got this great idea, and we kind of went, oh, something else that we need to do. And we're a very small team. You have 2/5 of the team here on this call. And it's absolutely wonderful when somebody, we learn it on day one of NLP training, don't we? It's 100% responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you said that, because I'm sure my whole face lit up when you said that, from the perspective of, fantastic, this is something we can definitely do, because actually you've already said you're going to step up and do most of the work. We just need to be the conduit and the gatherer of information. And we do various projects like that, don't we, Nina, where actually the member takes on the bulk of the work, because as I said, we're a very small team. We have 1,300 members to support, and we love it when somebody will say something like that. And the opposite side of that particular seesaw is, what you should be doing is X, Y, and Z. And we get a fair amount of that.
We get a lot of that.
And there's only so many hours in the day, and we appreciate that, we do need to serve the majority of our members, and that is a project that would serve a majority of our members in terms of how it would pan out, and what we could do. So definitely that's something we'd be interested in working with you to facilitate and make it happen. And the same goes for anybody else who's listening now or later. Those sorts of projects that will have a benefit to the community. I mean, that's the point. We're a community interest company, so something that will benefit the community, that we don't suddenly get lumbered with 100% of the work. is absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Connor, for actually raising that really important point. That's really, really valid.
Shall I drop you an email and we'll schedule something?
Absolutely, yes. And if not, we know who you are.
Yeah, but I'm in Joburg, so you can't easily get me. That's so I'm relatively safe.
But as long as you've got the basics on your profile, which is your name and your email address,
That's true.
you can
get me. I know.
Checked all that. It's all there.
Cool stuff. Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for that. That's very encouraging.
Thank you. Well, also just mentioning that on filling out the basics on your profile, we do have a small number of members, don't we, Nina, who do subscribe to having rapport by post as well as rapport online. However, they've deleted their address, their physical address, off their profile, and I know that NLP, it gives us a lot of skills. However, mind reading isn't one of them, and certainly mind reading for the postman isn't one of them, because they may not even be NLP trained. So, if you do subscribe to Rapport by Post, please do put your address, your full address, on your profile, with the assurance that it's only so we can send you rapport. It doesn't get published to out on your profile or anything like that. It is personal for us, so that we can send you the occasional letter, send you a copy of rapport, that sort of thing. So, but it is private from the outside world. Mariana, you said you had a list of questions. Are there some more
Sorry.
that you would like asking? I need to apologise. Oh, you're still muted. Oh.
Just joking, just joking. So my questions are very basics. I'm looking at your website, and there is a section called Simply Docs, and I would love to order some of them, but I am stuck at the login information where I have to enter password. What password is that? Because I haven't. I mean, I am a member, but to get the Simply Docs, what is the how do I register for it?
You need your login password. Have you got your login password that will have been sent to you when you were?
Is it the login for the ANLP website?
Yes.
That's the password?
Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't accept it, so I will try again.
So I think yeah. So if you can log in, you need to use your email address that you registered with. We've emailed about this, haven't we, recently?
Yes, I have it. I have it now, but now that I try to get, because there are some awesome documents that I would love to have, so I just got stuck with the password things.
So you can click on "Forgot my password," and you'll be sent a link, an email with a link in it to reset and get the new password. The link's valid for 4 hours, and then it will expire, and you'd have to do that again.
Thank you.
But
And that's key for information like that, because obviously as a membership organisation, there are certain pieces of information that are exclusive to members only. If we made all of that information public, then why would anybody need to be a member?
Yeah.
So yes, it is, and the passwords are case sensitive and all that sort of thing. So it is a case of remembering that password or getting Google to remember it for you, which probably isn't the right thing to do. I shouldn't have said that, but that's what I do. I rely on Google remembering my passwords for me. So yes, so that's information, and Simply Docs that you've mentioned, Marion, that's one of our member benefits. So for anybody else who may want to know that additional information, ANLP members get a discount on Simply Docs, which provide a range of template documents for all sorts of industries, and there's a range of documentation that you can buy, and they silo it into what might be relevant for particular industries. They do property documents, you know, short hold tenancies and all sorts of things. We do use them ourselves for various, if we need, you know, so NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, we've got some of those off there and that sort of thing. But they're just really good template documents, and for a year's subscription it's really reasonably priced to ensure that you can be acting in a professional way, and that's what it's about. It's about having those template contracts and things like that. So we do have a couple of template contracts on our website anyway that have been drafted by that ANLP members use themselves, and they've shared with us. So you were saying, Connor, earlier about that collaboration. Definitely there is collaboration within the field, and that's one of the things that, you know, if members would dislike to be shared and this sort of thing. And again, as you were mentioning, that there are certain trainers that if they don't train in a particular, you know, they may do prac and not master prac, or they may actually choose to deliver their NLP training in other NLP related courses and don't do prac or master prac at all. And so what they then do is they have a referral scheme that with other members who do train prac and master prac, so that once, you know, somebody does get the bug and they've done a couple of NLP related courses, and then they want to become, they want to move on into the next, they just refer on to other trainers, other accredited trainers or other ANLP member trainers, because then they know that they're within that same self-regulatory framework, but also they're abiding by the same rules and have the same ethics, if you like. So hopefully that one, thank you for bringing that one to attention, Marianne. Any other questions?
I do, but I don't want to hog all the time, so I will be quiet if somebody else is.
Well, Jenny sent a message just now saying they're about to go on another roller coaster. So I suspect Jenny won't possibly have a question just at this precise moment. Although if you are still listening, well, Jenny's still on the call. So Jenny, if you're listening, assuming you're not halfway up something or another, but do feel free when you come back down off the roller coaster to just chip in with some questions that you may have. I still think it's incredibly noble of you to be attending this whilst at Alton Towers. So Mariana, please do, ask another question.
So I saw, but I can't find it now. I know that you have NLP practice groups or anything to do. How do I find that? And if I want to start my own, how do I do that?
Okay, so you find them. Karen, do you want to do a share again?
Sorry. Right, 1 second. Sorry, I was asleep there.
It's all right.
Right, hold on. Right.
Yeah, so resources again.
Resources.
And
Under other resources.
yeah, find a practice group. And the current, well, I say current, I'm actually going through at the moment and checking that all these are still running. Hopefully they are. Again, it's something, we don't have the crystal ball capabilities to always know when someone stopped running a practice group that doesn't tell us. But hopefully all these are actively running. Whereabouts are you, Marianne?
I'm in Buckinghamshire, so I'm going to look into Judy.
Yeah, Judy, I know that one is running.
But also a lot of people at the moment, so I've just written down a note for our web developers, because of course, again, with things moving on, there are virtual practice groups running at the moment. So it doesn't really matter where you are, because you can attend a virtual practice group. Nina, can you remember, I know that Melody Cheel runs a virtual practice group. Emma,
there is one. Go on to the next page.
Live virtual, there you go.
I didn't know how else to put it in there, so it kind of covers it all, doesn't it?
Yes.
But I think probably most of them at the moment, if you contacted any of them, they will all be virtual, because I just don't think people are able to get permission to have. Well, you can't have more than 6, can you?
Depends where you are. I have no idea what today's rules are. So, but yeah.
I don't think. I think they will all, if they are going ahead at the moment this year, they're all going to be virtual, I would say. I
think Emma is definitely running a virtual practice group at the moment. I know that. And I don't know about some of the others. Andy, I think, is doing a virtual practice group. Yeah. He's definitely, I know Andy's definitely doing virtual training at the moment. But yes, it's worth, and there are some new ones that that Nina is currently managing as well, that will be coming on board. And to answer the other part of your question, if you did want to set up your own practice group, once people are actually allowed to be in the same room, then we do support that as well. And
that's when you're out of your trial membership period. That's when you're paid up professional member.
So I'm now thinking, and where's the practice group? There should be information about practice groups somewhere. I do know this.
Yes, start. Oh, hold on a minute.
We're now being tested.
Oh, what was that? Hold on.
Got to find a practice group. Where's the?
Yeah, information.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. So this is this page, which was also under resources. I just needed to go cross-side. So this explains a bit more about the purpose of practice groups, and if there isn't one in your area and you want to set one up, contact us, because we do have a format, and we also provide resources to all the practice groups. We're still doing that, even though most of them are virtual. We send them out a couple of copies of rapport each quarter, so that they've got resources to share at their practice group. and various things like that. So, and then if you're running one of those practice groups, it then does get advertised in Rapport as well. So yes, either way, virtual ones at the moment, and yes, if you wanted to set your own up, we can support you with that as well. I'm going to stop sharing again for the moment, unless there's another question that is website related or dashboard related, since I'm still logged in as the dog.
Don't know how much more time. So first of all, thank you so much. I am more and more excited that I am part of your group now. I'm on a trial period. If I decide to become a full member, if I pay now, it will start after the trial period ends.
Yes, that's right. We won't take any payments until your membership is due to actually renew. What you can do, sorry?
I think it's January, Mariana, isn't it? I think.
So what you can do to take the administration task away is you can set up your if you choose, you can set up your payment method and everything via your profile. So again, we can go to dashboard. There's going to be, as I said, at the same time as the stats get rolled out this week, there's also going to be another few improvements just to the way the dashboard is viewed, so that those details about your membership level and everything like that will all appear up here in the top section of your section, so it's really easy for you to access. This is when your membership is due for renewal, and all those things will all be I'm pointing at the screen now.
Yeah, we can't see it.
we'll all be in this little section here, those quick and easy things to access. But on your dashboard, you've got subscription, so you can change everything about your subscription on this section. And where you see the payment methods, I've set Tash's membership to 0 because at one stage I was paying for her to be a member every month, and I thought that's a bit silly that I'm paying for the dog to be a member of the association. So I have the power as an administrator to change her membership to 0. So I'm not paying for it anymore. But you can set up your payment methods by clicking the payment method. So at the moment,
and there's a video on the website.
There are how-to guides for this,
yeah.
And you can edit the payment method. You can pay by PayPal. But if you set those things up in advance, then you can opt to just have your membership payment taken every month or every year. Just taken automatically. We don't just take it, we do give you 7 days notice that it's going to be taken, unlike some organisations, not in the NLP field. Jenny, you've joined us in between rides. Do you have a question for us?
I'll look back at the Facebook because I don't really know what's been asked. I found the very first 5 minutes really helpful about the how-tos and the videos and things, so I'm going to go and have a look at that. I was also a little bit overwhelmed at first, but I think it's just not knowing what to look for. So I found having that how-to tip was really helpful, and I'll just watch the rest of it as I go along. I get to a roller coaster and I have to hang up.
No, but that's really good feedback for us, Jenny. Thank you, because it might be that actually what we need to do is highlight for people when they first join, start with the how-to guides. Start with the dashboard and start with the how-to guides, because then it is, you know, I mean, I appreciate that it's how do you eat an elephant, why would you want to, but how do you eat an elephant 1 bite at a time? But it's still, but where do I start? The trunk or the tail?
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to be a member, and it's all good fun, so that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this as well, even if I had to join a bit haphazardly.
Well, I do think you get star member for devotion to the cause.
My girl said, I thought you said there were no meetings today. I said, well, it's okay. You can't have all half term inside, can you?
Yeah, exactly. But that's, I mean, it's super that you've joined us. Mariana.
Yeah, so Jenny, I think it's an excellent suggestion. What if you put on an hour session just to walk us through the website? Not all the things, but just what you think the main things are, because I know it's like hand holding, but I didn't mean to say overwhelming, that what you put up is overwhelming, but it's just so much. And as a beginner, when I saw, you know, another link here and other, it's just get lost. So if you have an hour or 45 minutes, just hand holding just a little bit, click, you know, slow, you know, like older people like me, so we can get a better grip on what you offer there.
Well, and it might be because now we've started doing these sessions. We've already had one of the insurance companies that we work with very quickly came forward and said, we'd love to do a session for you on the importance of insurance, especially because of COVID. So our next session has already been booked by them. So they will be doing a presentation about the importance of insurance, which I think is really, really valuable. So it might be that actually we do start theming these, and maybe the third one, so it would be the December session, we actually do a walk through the website guide or something like that. And then as you say, you know, if there's people on the session, that's great. Asking specific questions is wonderful, but we could definitely do that. And then because it will be going out on Facebook Live, we haven't recorded this, we've just done this Facebook Live, and I think there's some technical things we could do later, but it will be there for people, and then they can view it. And so then we can have one that is, you know, walking through the ANLP website. December would be a great time to do that because it will be a year since we launched the new website. So it's
let's do that.
Happy first birthday to the website. So we'll do that as our December session. And really look forward to joining you then. And again, you know, if you or anybody else who's listening to this later, if you've got suggestions as to what you would like these calls to cover, you know, please do tell us, because that we're here to support you. And Nina and I were suddenly sort of saying at 9:45, what if nobody turns up? We better have a plan B. What's plan B?
I think we should have put a shout out to our NLP group, actually. I think they would have probably joined. They may have forgotten.
Well, this one was it was kind of very short notice, but we have scheduled them all in. So those of you who followed the link from the members news update, you've got the schedule all the way through to, I think, next May, I think. So, you know, they are deliberately different days, different times, so that people, you know, hopefully can drop into one. And the fact it's been done on Facebook Live, it means it's accessible for people afterwards as well. So, but yes, if you have suggestions, do please just drop us a line, because it saves us thinking of things to say. But also, as I said, we're a members association, so you're actually the key people. You know, we need to serve you. That's what we're here for, is to serve you and serve your requirements. So if you have specific requirements, tell us what they are, and we will do our best. If you want tea serving at 4 p.m. in Johannesburg, we may not be able to manage that one. But I suspect Nina would like to try. So I think it's just about time. If anybody has anything briefly to say, we're pretty much at the top of the hour now. So I think, you know, Nina, do you have anything to say to our esteemed guest today?
No, thank you very much for joining, and thank you for the questions. And look forward to seeing you in November. I was going to say December, but we've got November first. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you all. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your very incisive questions, which were brilliant. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Zoom
you.
wave.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.